everyone, welcome back to our channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today we have a brand new essay question, so we're gonna get started on that. But before we do, we have a lot of videos for writing and speaking, and we're going to create a lot more content for the sub exam as well. So yeah, I hope that you're going to subscribe as well because you'll find the content here really useful. That being said, let's get started. Here's the question. Some people think that visiting museums is the best way for children to learn history, while many others believe there are better ways. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. So, a very classic, typical discussion essay question. Museums, I think this is a topic that I probably have covered before as well, maybe around 2 years ago or so. But of course, the question was different. But the reason why I told you that I've probably covered museums as a general topic in another essay is because you might not get exactly the same question, but the ideas that I show you with all of my essays can be recycled, right? Because there's only a few really main core topics that the IELTS essays revolve around. So, even if you just watch a couple videos, I'm sure you'll get a nice kind of, bank of ideas to develop from. And of course, our students get an essay idea bank for like 500 different essay questions. So yeah, let's get on with it. So what I always do is I first get my main ideas. I'm just gonna bring this down here. Great, so main idea 1, and then supporting ideas, main idea 2, and then my supporting ideas. Now, this is just what's most comfortable for me. You might prefer to start with your introduction and, get that out of the way, which also makes perfect sense. I could do that as well, but I don't know, for some reason, I just find it a lot more comfortable, I guess, to get my main, because, when you get your main ideas and your supporting ideas down here, you make your notes and stuff, I get the feeling that, great, my essay is almost done. I get that mental feel. Of course, the actual writing is still remaining, but I get the idea that, okay, I have a nice skeleton. Now all I have to do is fill it up with body parts and attach the skin. Sounds very gruesome. Okay, so yeah, you build your skeleton. It, gives you confidence as well, right? Because you don't want to be writing your essay and you're done with one paragraph and then you're thinking, oh my God, I spent so much time. I still have so much to write. You don't want that kind of feeling, right? Okay, so so discussion essays, you need to have a weak opinion and a strong opinion. So some people think museums are best. Other people think museums are not the only way. There's many other ways. There are better ways. Children, right? Okay, so children can learn, oops, no strong modal verbs. Children might be able to learn about the world past through a range of common sources. That's my first main idea, and then my next main idea. However, museums provide an all-round source of information that is perfect for children. There we go. Well, that's just my opinion. Your opinion might be the opposite, and that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. So you learn about history in school. Duh, you learn it from the internet. This is super easy. Okay, and what else? You also learn, from oral history, from your parents, relatives. Like, some people's grandparents, they were involved in civil wars or independence struggles, or they lived through a recession or, something like that. So you learn from people close to you. There you go. Super simple. Wow. Okay. Museums, you have, museums are great because you have actual artifacts, actual real artifacts, right? And they often have audio visual components. They attract and also retain children have a very short attention span. You might send a child to school for like 7 hours, but that doesn't mean that they're active all those 7 hours learning every single thing. Hell no. So that's that. Actual real artifacts. Helpful especially for what's that, kinesthetic learners, audiovisual learners, audiovisual, because a school book, etc., is just, it's so flat, right? I mean, some people love reading. I love reading, but yeah, seeing something in person is always impressive. So museums, you have real, artifacts and all these things. They have, you often museums will have like a tape or something, like a tape recorder and a headset, and you can, learn, you can hear about whatever that thing is while you're, walking around the museum. What else? They often have, it's and museums are technically, unbiased because they represent facts. Like when I show, like let's say a museum has some kind of sculpture that was made in 800 AD. You cannot, it's a fact, but if you go on the internet, you don't know if the information is correct, right? If your grandfather tells you that, oh, the depression was so bad that people had to kill their children and eat them, sometimes people exaggerate, right? So you cannot really depend, but this is like, information in a museum is usually unbiased, represent, real truth with proof, right? Hey, here's a sculpture, it was really made, it has all this, plus it's, all very scientific, right? It's not just hearsay. See, anybody can go online on the internet, make a website. I can make a website right now, and I can say, oh, in 500 BC, the Earth was visited by aliens from Jupiter, and their body temperature was like, minus 10 degrees Celsius, and then they mated with human beings on Earth, and you get where I'm going. So yeah, these are my ideas. I have my skeleton already. Now I'm going to write my introduction. Great. So, visiting museums, best way for children to learn history. Okay. Let's see. A child's education is quite possibly one of the most important parts of their upbringing. And learning about history is something essential for any well-educated, rational human being, for any, I would say, well-reared, educated human being. Although information about human history can be obtained from a endless range of resources, a museum offers a great combination of I wanted to say the best of both worlds, but it's not just two worlds. A museum offers a great combination of insights and not proof, but a great combination of information and insights that not a museum, I mean museums in general, museums offer. So for a good combination of information and insights that make them perfect for children. There we go. That's my introduction. My introduction is 56 words, which is great. There we go. Now I've got the main idea, so I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna put that over here. great. And you should always look at your ideas, see if you want to, rearrange them. Maybe I would say that the internet is pretty big nowadays, but when you use the word child, a child is anyone from like 2, 3 years of age all the way to 13, 14. And a lot of parents don't allow unsupervised access to the internet until a child is 13, 14 years, basically a teenager. So that's why I think internet should be maybe number 3, maybe, I suppose. But I mean, either way it would work fine, really. They have unbiased, revealed truth, often have, if there are real artifacts. Okay, I think this is great. All right. So children might be able to learn about the world's past through a range of common sources. The most important of these is most likely their school, where, of course, history is a mandatory lesson worldwide. I mean, and they are often taught about not just their own country's history, but also a good bit of worldwide history. Another possibly equally important source would be their parents and other relatives, as they provide a living source of orally passed down history from a personal rather than objective perspective. When I say objective, I mean, for example, when we say, okay, World War II ended in 1945, that's objective. But if your grandpa tells you that when the World War ended, the entire country was in shambles and he had to get a job selling newspapers, but that was not enough money, and his wife had to get a job as a typist because they had like 4 children and one of them died. That is personal perspective, right? That's a difference. You can also use the word subjective. There you go. So another possibly equally important source would be their parents and relatives. They provide a living source of orally passed down history from a subjective rather than objective perspective. It's good. And then the last one, internet. Another common, I've already used common source. Let's see. Another way by which information can be found is, of course, through the internet. As almost every child these days has their own tablet or phone, and a lot of content online is geared specifically towards teaching children. Have I written kids anywhere? I hope not. In a fun and easy to understand. Wait, there we go. And then my finishing up type of sentence, thus children learning about history could easily be done through I've already used various sources, common sources. I want to use something else. Learning about history could easily be done in a manner that pleases them the best, maybe in the easiest possible manner. Some kids don't like learning in school. Some kids love watching YouTube videos, so whatever works for them. And then my next paragraph, however, take that over here. I'm gonna put that here. There we go. Okay. Right. Where's my ideas? Okay. Museums provide an all-round all-round source of information that is perfect for children. This is especially so because in a museum, one finds actual, real artifacts. By the way, there's two spellings. You can use whichever one you like. Actual, real artifacts from all periods, all periods of history. Which, for example, what else? Let's say the skeleton of, some kind of animal. For example, old sculptures, sculptures or skeletons of extinct animals, right? Or even recreations, old sculptures, um, ancient coins, or skeletons of animals. Real artifacts from all periods of history, which in a museum one finds blah blah, which is particularly, I've already used particularly helpful for kinesthetic learners. As they prefer hands-on learning. Yeah. Additionally, most museums offer some kind of audio and or audio-visual program. Which one can, can carry a tape recorder and headphones to learn more about the things displayed in these exhibitions, which is once again certainly, which is once again a great way to attract and retain children's attention. Since children are known to have short attention spans. Whoops, most children. There we go. And the last idea. Not only are museums great for various types of learners, but they also form a great source of unbiased, raw information because they represent real truths and usually have no, ulterior agendas. Because let's say, for example, the items on display have been tested scientifically to be real and or accurate, right? They're not just gonna take any coin and tell you, oh, this is a coin from from the Goth era. No, it has to be tested, carbon dating and whatnot, all these kinds of things, right? So hence, exposing children or, bringing children along or ensuring that children get to visit museums will ensure that they have a well-rounded, I've already used, okay, well-rounded knowledge. Knowledge is non-countable, so I cannot use a. They have well-rounded knowledge of their country and their planet. Of maybe just the world, really. Maybe rather obtain. That's much better. There we go. Okay, so that's that. And then I need my conclusions. So in conclusion, it is evident, that despite the near endless, I already used near endless, haven't I? Oops, yeah, I have. Okay. Despite the vast array of resources that children can use to learn about the past, museums still have the upper hand because they offer an unbeatable experience. Let's say if parents, or let's say if people truly want their children to learn in the best way possible, they should arrange more frequent museum trips whenever possible. Whoops. There we go. So that's my conclusion. And that's the entire essay. Okay, what I'll do is I'll have to change the text. Great. So this entire thing is 431 words, and my gosh, would you look at the time? It's just 21 minutes. That's a bit crazy. Okay, so here's the introduction. You can pause your screen if you want to read. And here we've got body paragraph 1. Here we've got body paragraph 2. Here we've got body paragraph. I mean, that's the conclusion. That's the conclusion. And we have our ideas over here. So that's that. Wow, that was really quick, but I've got to admit that I'm a huge fan of museums, so that's probably why this was a little bit easy for me, I guess. But yeah, well, that was a lot of fun. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I'm hoping to create more content that helps you out. So don't forget to leave a comment down below in case there's anything you want me to make. I definitely take comments into consideration. Don't forget to click on like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Until then, goodbye.